Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Fabach. A transatlantic dispute is emerging over Europe's push for technological and defense sovereignty after SpaceX warned that the new EU satellite rules could undermine services used by Ukraine and trigger tensions with Washington. At the same time, the EU is pressing ahead with plans for a sovereign satellite network, greater defense readiness by 2030, and closer integration with Ukraine's defense industry. As concerns grow over Russian hybrid threats and the security of Europe's critical infrastructure in space. Joining us to discuss the latest is Thomas Regnier, spokesperson for tech, sovereignty, defense, space, and research at the European Commission. Welcome to TVP World.
Thank you. Good morning.
So I want to begin with this recent comment by SpaceX, essentially warning the European Union, the European Commission. I want to get your sense of it, what they've said here about this reducing connectivity options, emergency communication in Ukraine. How does the Commission respond to that? Is that true?
No, it's actually the opposite. It's Europe stepping up. Europe becoming more resilient, more independent in extremely strategic sectors such as space and spectrum. So what is the reality here? The reality is that in certain parts of the world, European providers have zero market share. Now, what is happening with our latest decision in Europe? Europe will remain open, but only up to a third of our spectrum. So we remain open, but we're also, of course, encouraging the scale up of European providers for security and sovereignty reasons.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you said certain European companies have, in this particular area, have, pardon the pun, in this space, 0% market share. I mean, if we look at the open market, the free market, a lot of these companies are American, SpaceX being one of them. How difficult will it be now to step in and push out elements of the free market, which Europe touts as being one of its foundational values?
Look, I do believe that we have strong startups, strong European providers. The only problem that we have is how can they scale? How can they be globally competitive if we do not give them their proper market share here in Europe? And the reality is that this is actually possible. Even if you look at cloud providers, the Commission has recently taken a decision worth 180 million euro to have exclusively European cloud providers for our institutions. So I do believe that all of this is possible. It will have a cost, but this is a price we have to be ready to pay for our future and for our security.
Mm-hmm. All right. You mentioned cloud provider there. I want to press you on that because we've heard that also from the commissioners, the Kubilius for Defense and Tech. He said, I think a few months ago, about a certain kind of cloud for defense. But I remember Gaia X, this goes back before the war in Ukraine, this goes back some years ago. That was also touted as a European alternative. That didn't really go anywhere. So why is it different and why are we still behind in this area?
Well, the perspective has changed from a European point of view. What we have just recently proposed 2 weeks ago is our European tech sovereignty package. And here, of course, cloud plays a predominant role. What is the issue at stake? The issue at stake is that in certain extremely strategic sectors, think of healthcare, think of defense, think of energy, critical infrastructure, Europe is over-reliant on third country providers. And this has to change. This has to change because Europe is currently facing a wake-up call. So definitely we have European solutions at our disposal, but we need to leverage these solutions. We need to formalize and put in law the fact that in certain strategic sectors, we will go for European solutions. Like it's done in other parts of the world. In the United States of America, certain strategic sectors will only be provided by American companies. The same in China. Europe has to wake up and do exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about this wake-up call for some time. Let's also talk realistically as well, Ukraine in particular, with back to SpaceX. I mean, this has become with Starlink such a crucial embedded thing that the Ukrainians need on the battlefield. This is something that, now wondering, can European operators step into that role realistically and how quickly? And if we're looking at also IRIS², I mean, this has been planned for 2030. Can that be accelerated? Apparently it's going to be sooner, but that still explain to us like how we catch up in this time where it needs to be right now at the moment.
So yes, indeed, Iris Square will play a crucial role in this. The issue that we have is indeed the timeline, as you rightly say. Now, can we advance it? Yes, Commissioner Kubilius has also been very clear. He would like to advance the operations of Starlink by 2029, so that's 1 year. We have a gap to fill from today to 2029, also when it comes to potentially supporting Ukraine. What are we doing from a public point of view is for connectivity reasons. For example, we have set up a platform called GovSatcom. What does it do? It pools European satellite capacities that our member states have together in a shared pool, and they will then be made available to member states who do not have such capacities and potentially to partner countries such as Ukraine. So yes, we're working on that. We're still behind, but we're also not pretending that we will completely replace services that are keeping Ukraine alive. So yes, this has to be a balanced approach where Europe can step up, offer more services, better services. But indeed, we have this timeline that is a slight issue here. So we're advancing as much as we can. But for now, the logic thinking would be 2029 for Iris Square.
Mm-hmm. And also, this reminds me of something that's come up, I think, some weeks back, I think from the head of the Finnish, security services, who said that Europe will always, or for a very long time, still be beholden to Chinese hardware and also to American software. What do you think of his comments?
I mean, also this we have to change it. We're trying to change this. We have recently adopted, for example, the Cybersecurity Act in certain strategic sectors. Again, be it connectivity, be it healthcare, be it defense. We cannot have providers or companies that are in our supply chains that pose a risk to our security. This has to change. So according to the Commission's proposal that we have done at the beginning of the year from a cyber perspective, yes, we want to be able, if our co-legislators adopt our proposal, we want to be able to list certain third countries that could pose a risk to our supply chains and to our security in certain sectors, and to subsequently list third country companies that come from these countries. So yes, here again, action is being taken. Now we need the Parliament and the Council definitely to adopt our proposal. And when it comes to software, also here, I mean, yes, we are still reliant on third countries and third country companies. Also in the defense sector, we're changing this. If you think of SAFE, for example, our 150 billion investment program, there again, it's about Europe. It's about joint procurement. It's about European companies working together. And here again, the market share of third country companies is limited to a maximum of 35%. So yes, we are taking decisive action these days.
You mentioned third-party countries. I mean, namely, as that will be the United States. I think we don't want to get into too much, but the cybersecurity as well. A lot of those platforms, predominantly, I think it's over 80%, will still be American at this point in time. So the alternative, that's the big question. I want to push you also on why this change now. I mean, obviously, there's a lot that's happening, trying to make Europe more sovereign, but also with the security threat. And I think this is something coming from your office as well, that you've said Russia has targeted European space assets in the past. Tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, what does that look like practically? I mean, is it signaling, is it jamming, or what does that look like? And how well are we, let's say, proposed to counter that?
It's indeed jamming, signaling, spoofing. These are the kind of experiences we had in the past. And we know that Russia has a long-standing history and track record of doing such operations. I mean, today's space cannot be seen anymore as just a sector where we're playing and doing discoveries. No, space is becoming a strategic asset, a strategic sector, and this is why you cannot dissociate safe space from your defense capabilities. So how are we concretely defending Europe here? What concrete measures are we taking? We have just recently proposed also a defense roadmap. What are we doing with these roadmaps? We need to develop European flagship projects where our member states work hand in hand, and we as the European Commission facilitate this process. Now, what are these flagships? We have our Eastern Flank Watch. We need to defend, and our countries need to create synergies on the frontline countries facing Russia to defend our borders. We have a drone defense initiative, because we're seeing increased drone incursions and airspace violations in the EU. There again, we need to massively develop drones, counter drones capabilities. And then we also have developed two other flagship projects, which are precisely the Air Shield and the Space Shield, highlighting how important space defense is for Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, one more quick comment I want to get from you as well. I mean, this has come up fairly recently as well. I think comments by Germany's military space commander, Major General Michael Traut, who's essentially said he cannot rule out that Russia would somehow put nuclear arms into space. I mean, how credible is that? How seriously is the Commission taking this? And what are the plans there?
Yes, I think these days we have to take all threats extremely seriously. We're seeing what is happening on a daily basis in Ukraine. We're seeing, again, the many drone incursions in Europe. So we are facing already now hybrid threats. So what will be the next step? This, of course, Commissioner Kubilius has been extremely clear too. He believes that Russia will threaten us by 2030. This is a clear reality that we have to face and get ready for. And this takes many different dimensions. So, of course, we have funding support. We need to massively invest in our companies, defense companies, European ones, and allow them to scale in Europe. We need to close critical capability gaps, also identified by NATO, be it when it comes to military mobility, drone, missiles, ammunitions. So yes, and then, of course, in the space sector and potential nuclear threats in the space sector, there again, IRIS² will play a crucial role. We need to get this moving forward as quickly as possible, and we need European space industry to work together like the European defense industry is doing it more and more.
All right, so we have to now return back to earth with that, and we'll see. I mean, there's a lot still that is urgent, as you said, and let's hope that the European Union member states push on that as much as possible. Look, thank you so much for all that. Thomas Regnier there, a spokesperson from the European Commission. And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for news and commentary.